Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. First of all, the schedule is now out of New Zealand's tour to Pakistan. Of course, they're playing 5-match T20 international series that starts with the team arriving on the 14th of April. The first match will be played at the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. So 3 T20 internationals at the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium and the remaining 2 matches will be played at the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore. So interesting series, of course, and right after the PSL, I think the selection would be very, very important, considering that Pakistan's first assignment internationally before a World Cup, and then of course they've got to prepare for that as well. So I think things are pretty interesting as well. 22nd is when obviously when we see things taking shape as well. But then again, I think we need to discuss some of the probables that can be selected. Some people who might not make it to the Pakistan squad is another thing that needs to be discussed as well, because obviously there's a lot of talent, but you need to balance the equation, and obviously every now and then rumors will be circulating about who's going to be the skipper, what's going to happen. All of these things need to be put into perspective as well, and also the fact that we still also need to announce the team management before this series as well, and that team management probably is going to take over with the World Cup as well. So we'll talk about that. Then we move on to Sri Lanka's tour to Bangladesh, where the first ODI of the 3-match series is underway. Sri Lanka, of course, won the toss and opted to bat first, and very important series this one as well for both teams who are looking to find some new combinations. So we'll talk about that. Then of course we move on to the Afghanistan and Ireland ODI series, where Afghanistan have won the series 2-0. They won the final one international. The first one was of course abandoned. They won the second and third one as well. I think they've been very clinical. They've performed exceptionally well, although we were a bit disappointed in the T20 format or in the test side, we can say, because of certain things. But when you talk about white ball cricket, Afghanistan tends to enjoy it, and they tend to do exceptionally well in one international cricket as well. But we also need to give a lot of credit to the Irish team, who are performing exceptionally well across formats. So I think they're a very improved side now. So we'll talk about that in detail. Then of course we move on to the AFC Champions League. Al Hilal and Ulsan have qualified for the semi-finals. Hilal defeated Al Ittihad 2-0. Ulsan defeated John Buck by 1-0 as well. So that is also on the show. That is the latest update from the AFC Champions League. Time now to discuss things in detail. First of all, in studios we've been joined by cricket commentator, international broadcaster, presenter and our sports expert, Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Asif?
Walaikum Assalam, Ahmed. I'm perfect, thank you.
We've also been joined by first-class cricketer and cricket expert Kashif Majid. Assalamu alaikum, Kashif. How are you?
Walaikum Assalam. Thank you, Ahmed.
Well, Kashif, our home series against New Zealand, of course 5 T20s, I think is a good omen right before the World Cup. But like I said, that it's going to be very interesting seeing the selection, because obviously a lot relies in our part of the world on PSL performers as well.
I guess this is where Pakistan cricket is heading. We talk about those franchise players, we talk about those performances, just not in Pakistan, around the globe, and we pick the team. We think to pick the best team for that coming international series and also the international events. But my question still remains the same. When we talk about those franchise cricketers, always the openers or the top order dominating when it comes to the batting department. When it comes to the bowling, there's always the spinners who are ruling the world. But when we talk about the Pakistani lineup, we still have to find the middle order batsmen, we still have to find the finisher, we still have to find the best quality spinners playing across formats in Pakistan. And still, when we talk about those franchise cricket playing in Pakistan, that PSL, still we haven't found a quality spinner. We do talk about Abrar's mystery, we do talk about Usman Tariq's mystery spin, but a conventional spinner, an off spinner, a leg spinner, a left arm spinner, we are still looking for those, and we are looking for those people for the right 2.5 years, and we still haven't found them.
Absolutely. Interesting, Asif, that we can talk about some of the selections that we might see going forward, because like I said, that this becomes a very important assignment right before the T20 World Cup. And because you've got 5 T20s, so that jargon of experimenting could realistically be done here.
Well, that's right, Ahmed. It's really important series for Pakistan right before the World Cup, T20 World Cup, and we played against New Zealand. In New Zealand, we lost. But this is the time to test some new players, as Kashif was discussing about, that we didn't find good finishers. We don't have good middle order batters. We don't have right arm off spinners. We don't have left arm spinners. We don't have proper leggies. But if you see this franchise cricket, what's happening in the Pakistan, it's in the national T20, I think that you should give chance to Arif Yaqub. I like him because that I found him a very brave bowler. Even in the critical times, he used to bowl, death overs, and captains, of course, they do rely on him. And he has performed really well with the ball. I like the good thing is that he comes up with the proper flight, and even in the short grounds, even when everything is going in the favor of the batters, when he's bowling so bravely, I think hats off for him, and I would like to see him. And the second name, being fast bowler, if you talk about that, I would like to see Muhammad Ali, because he is a first. He has a very good first-class record. We have given him chance in Test cricket as well, though he didn't perform well. But after that, he was disappeared. That he was not in our plans in the Test cricket. But the way he's bowling in franchise cricket and in national T20 cricket, I think it's phenomenal. So these two players, I would like to watch them, and of course, I would like to see some new faces as well in the batting. And I don't want to see Haris Rauf playing again for Pakistan. I don't want to see that you're again giving chances to Osama Mir. No, this is the time to give some chances. I want to see Haseeb. It's really important. I don't want to see Azam Khan. Players like this, thank you very much. You've given them, ample opportunities. They're not performing well. Now this is the time. The players like Hasibullah were really good with the bat behind the stumps. He's really active. Each and everything is going in his favor, and he's performing well. He's not playing for himself. He's a team player, and he plays according to the conditions, which is really important. So these are few names which I really want to see them in the side.
Absolutely. I doubt that the selection committee might. I think Wahab Riaz is going to be at the helm of affairs to make those selections. But like I said, that it's very important, Kashif, that we realize what team management are we going to carry and who's going to be the captain, because eventually these three people are going to sit down and make the team, not just for this series but for the T20 World Cup as well.
To start off, Ahmed, it's important to find out who are our automatic picks for the upcoming series. Let's talk about it, and then we'll be able to find out the slots available to be picked by the selectors. So let's talk about the openers. For me, the top three will be Rizwan, Saim and Babar. I think Yasir will agree with that. For 4, 5 and 6, there has to be one Iftikhar in that slot. So we are left with the 2 slots available.
Fakhar also, I think, is going to be.
Okay, Fakhar is automatic. If Fakhar is automatic selection, then 4 is Fakhar. 5 and 6 has to be, one of them has to be Iftikhar, and then one slot is available. Then we have got the Shadab's batting form and the fielding form, and occasionally his bowling form. So he'll be an automatic pick. Then we go for the new ball bowlers. Shaheen and Naseem Shah are the automatic selection. Am I right, Yasir?
Well, is it your choice or is it your wish that you want to play Fakhar Zaman?
Look, we are talking about a left-handed batsman in the middle innings to cope up with the right-arm leg spinners and the left-arm spinner, who are in abundance in every team around the globe. So most probably, if you have got a better left-hander to replace Fakhar Zaman, I'll be vouching for him. But right now, with his experience, the way he countered New Zealand in the World Cup, the way he can come back strongly, I think he still have got chance.
Absolutely. I think Saud Shakil is also making headlines, knocking doors.
But Ahmed, when we talk about Saud Shakil's performances way down the order, Saud Shakil is just, for me,
not successful.
Not successful.
Yes.
He being an opener, yes, he is. But again, when we talk about those three, Rizwan Babar and Saim Ayub, I still believe these three guys are still the very best.
Well, I think, Ahmed, if you allow me, that I would like to continue this discussion, and I'm amazed that why my friend, my colleague is not taking the name of Hasibullah. Kashif, I would like to ask this, and I would like to request you to elaborate why you don't want to see him.
Haseeb's average and the strike rate basically is of an opener. So when we talk about an opener being selected again in this lineup, I still believe these three guys are the best we have got, and they are performing and they are in form. So this is where Haseeb's chances became very minimum, or say very minute. But of course, when we talk about Haseeb's performances in the domestic cricket, the most important thing in the recent time is that every now and then, whenever we find a performer, he's an opener. Talk about Sahibzada Farhan, he's an opener. Talk about Saud Shakil, he's an opener. Hasibullah, he's an opener, and so on and so forth. Because every now and then we are talking, every person, every cricket pundit is talking about the strike rates and the averages. We are not talking about the impact of a player with minimum balls he faces. Yes, it is the strike rate, but when we talk about the strike rate of Iftikhar against the fast bowling, it's around 180. But when we talk about Iftikhar's strike rate against the right arm leg spinners, it's around 90. So this is where we have to conclude a team. We have to find the best fit. And you know, the way Iftikhar is used in this franchise cricket in Pakistan, I hats off to the captain. He never uses Iftikhar against the spin. It's always Iftikhar coming against the fast bowling lineup. So this is where, you know, when we want to create a team or make a team, we have to come up with the horses for the courses.
Absolutely. But Asif, there's another interesting factor that, you know, we in Pakistan tend to miss out. Unfortunately, it's not just the batting that has been troubling us. Right now, our primary choice for fast bowlers are in all sorts of trouble. Shaheen is not the same Shaheen Shah Afridi that people started seeing on the world stage. The pace has dropped down and probably the visible struggle is there. Haris Rauf is probably out of the question. He's already injured and he's not performing up to the mark as he should be. This opens a huge gap now. If Shaheen is not A grade, which you want, you know, in a World Cup, but he's still your skipper, you're forced to play him. You've got no other choice. So probably the same thing that we saw, 2 overs at the start, 1 over in between, 1 at the end, get a couple of wickets and done and dusted. But, you know, around him, you will need to develop support, because I also mentioned the same thing, that for me, even Zaman Khan was a bit overhyped. You needed a bowler that could, you know, be there for Pakistan in the long run. Unfortunately, we've not found a bowler that we can rely on, especially in our fast bowling department.
Well, Ahmed, now if you are a skipper and individually if you're not performing well, if your performance is not up to the mark, of course that the pressure would be on you. And this is what Ricky Ponting said about Mitch Marsh, that why I want to see him as skipper, a permanent T20 skipper, because he's performing well and he is playing some match-winning knocks. So this is the difference between two approaches, the Australian approach and the Pakistani approach. I think that when we do comparison about the middle order batters, why I do not support Fakhar Zaman, let me reply to my colleague, my respectable brother. Because technically he's not good and he does not perform with the consistency. This is the problem with the Fakhar Zaman. Why I would like to give a chance to young Hasibullah, because technically he's so good. And when he goes for the improvisation, you see his execution. It's been perfect. And then Saud Shakil, yes, there's a debate that then Saud Shakil is an opening batter. But I think that Hasib is a player, if you can put him on number 4 in place of Fakhar Zaman, he will be able to perform well. Because I'm watching him in domestic cricket as well. And I've watched him in national T20 as well. You could see his stats, you could see his strike rate.
But that's your choice for batters that you think.
Yeah,
What's your choice for bowlers?
This is what
I'm primarily worried about Pakistan's fast bowling attack.
See, I've given one name, that is Muhammad Ali. I want to see him. Everyone was talking about that. He is a red ball specialist, but the way he's bowling in national T20 and in franchise cricket, you know that he's, I think, one of the top of the 3 fast bowlers in ongoing franchise cricket, and in national T20 he has performed well. Because Haris Rauf is not there, I'm quite sure, because he's suffering with an injury, and Shaheen Shah Afridi is not performing well. Naseem Shah, once again, he's good, and but the problem is the skipper, that is Shaheen Shah Afridi. He used to take early wickets in his couple of first 2 overs, but I think he's not striking well. Somewhere he's under pressure. This is what we talked about Babar Azam, that under captaincy he remained in the pressure. And same, I think that Shaheen Shah Afridi is struggling. But in this series, of course, that will give him chance, being a skipper, that because we're looking forward to get an experienced skipper in national T20 in World Cup, in T20 World Cup. Once again, right before the show, as you were telling me that the discussion is going on, either Shaheen Shah Afridi, Babar Azam, or someone else. If someone else, then who could be? So the performance of Shaheen Shah Afridi does matter for Pakistan. If we want to win, if you see that in last couple of T20 World Cups, Shaheen Shah Afridi was striking so well with the ball, and he has done some phenomenal job for Pakistan. But right now, his performance is under question.
Well, Kashif, it's a serious question in the world right now, because particularly he's been a superstar in recent times. So obviously people tend to gauge his performance. After the injury, it has drastically dropped down. Burden of captaincy also given to him after Babar, and now a lot relies on Shaheen Shah Afridi if he's not performing up to the mark.
Let's dissect his performances. Recent franchise cricket, his bowling at 143, 44. I've seen those matches. I've seen him bending his back. So most probably he's back to his fitness or back to his best. Second question is not taking wickets early on. Wickets in Pakistan, the conditions in Pakistan with the dew factor, it's quite difficult to swing the new ball. Although he's swinging the ball not that much, but importantly, batters are aware of that incoming delivery against the right-handed. So it's like more of a conventional thing that Shaheen Afridi will be doing that thing, and we are ready. So most probably this is where he's lacking some innovation. Third important thing is the whole structure of his franchise is not there. So he's the lone warrior there, and nobody else is supporting him. He's scoring 50. He's bound to take wickets, and he's the captain of a side who is sixth at the table. The last at the table. So most probably all those things, along with all the critics against Shaheen Afridi, are there. So it's just not easy for a player.
But I'm just saying that if you've got somebody better than him, you won't be able to play them because he's the skipper. I'm just saying that.
As a left-handed bowler, as a left armour, I think the most near to Shaheen Afridi will be Amir. That is it, and no other left armour. So as a left armour, there is only there is only just one competition, that is Mohammad Amir. But when we talk about right-handed, we have got Naseem Shah bowling the new ball. And there comes a question mark: will Muhammad Ali, if selected, will be the first change bowler, because he is taking wickets with the new balls in his early 2 overs, and he is good with the odd ball but not that effective in comparison with most probably Zaman Khan. So let's find out the best fit for Pakistan. The new ball bowlers will be Shaheen and Naseem Shah. Is it so? We'll be looking for a bowler. If Shaheen got hit in the first over or Naseem got hit in the first over, he'll be coming as the rescue operation or rescue job. And if not, he'll be the one who'll be bowling in the middle of the innings, most probably starting with the 5th or the 6th over till the 14th, 15th over, because Shaheen and Naseem are good in the depth too. So this is one bowler we are looking for. This is one slot we are looking for in the team, because I think we'll be playing Saim Ayub with his spin. I'll be honest, we'll be playing Shadab Khan with his leg spin and the batting and the fielding, the way he's performing. And most probably one slot with Osama Mir, Arif Yaqub, Ibrar Ahmed, Usman Tariq and all those guys. This one slot is still available for them. This is, for me, this is the best fit.
Well, one name that we tend to miss out in all of this combination that we're making, Asif, is Mohammad Haris. And I guess that people might have their differences, but I still see him fit enough to make Pakistan's squad.
Well, I think I respect your opinion, but once again, there's a question mark that he comes as an opener. And we have already 3-4 openers in the side, so this is the problem. And this is what Kashif said earlier. So I think instead of Haris, I would like to see Hasibullah. Or see, I don't want to. Once again, I have a big problem with the players who plays cross the line, and because I cannot see, or if you could please help me or show me that the players who plays cross the line in the world, they're the big players. I cannot see any player who plays cross the line and making impact.
So your main argument for selection will be technically sound players.
That's right.
And probably, I think, more technically sound, we've seen Shadab Khan in recent times as well. So he's also working on his batting so far.
Well, I think now that he forgets that how to bowl. Now this is the problem, that because I'm not happy with his bowling performances. Yes, he is good with the. See, he is a bowling all-rounder. He is not a batting all-rounder. So if he scores 50 and if he gives 50 odd runs in 4 overs, then Pakistan will be in trouble. So that's the problem. And I don't know why you guys are not taking them Arif Yaqub, because being if you see his performances in the death overs, impressive for me, to be very honest.
Well, then again, the records speak for themselves. If we truly, Kashif, believe in merit, and if we truly want to give him a chance, then probably I think we're not shying away from the fact to play 2 leg spinners. We've done it in the past as well.
I am totally agree with Shadab being the 6th option in the lineup and 5 specialist bowlers. Most probably a fast bowling all-rounder to comprehend the 2 fast bowlers.
Amir Jamal basically.
Most probably. The Amir Jamal Fahim is not doing his job well. So most probably Amir Jamal, although being a good mate of mine, Amir, I still believe he's more suited to the red ball cricket, the longer format of the cricket, not the T20, because he lacks certain variations which we require. when it comes to bowling in the T20s. So most probably still not my first pick, but having looking around and not finding a good quality all-rounder who can bowl fast, he's one of the first choice we have got. Second important thing when we talk about Arif Yaqub, I still believe Shadab being the sixth option, Arif can compete with Osama Mir, can compete with Abrar, can compete with Usman Tariq. So this is where the two spinners can comes in, and we can come up with a team where which we have got a long tail, because if we find out two specialist spinners and two fast bowlers who cannot bat, although Shaheen doesn't agree with me, so this can comes to the conclusion of a long tail. So this is where we wanted a team who can bat at 7 and 8 too.
Well, we've answered that question, I think. That question has finally been answered. Even Wasim Jr., if you talk about him to an extent, can, do what you need at number 9, 10 or 11.
Yes.
So I think that equation has been solved. But obviously, Asif, when we talk about the game of T20, it's not just the first 6 and the last 5 overs. If you remove those 11, it's the 9 middle overs that need to be talked about in between as well.
Well, that's the problem, and that's why, as we said, that two bowlers with the new ball, Naseem Shah, Shaheen Shah Afridi, and who could be rescuing them? Of course, Muhammad Ali, or we have Zaman Khan.
Absolutely.
And then some other name, as you said that. But once again, Mohammad Amir, I don't think so.
No, I personally don't
Yeah.
believe that he's going to make the side. But Asif and Kashif, thank you very much for joining us. That wraps it up. From me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.